Good.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. By the time you're watching us, thank you for joining us today. This is Kirsten, Carissa, and Nick with our discussion on performance enhancing substances used in athletic participation. Collegiate athletes are under copious amounts of pressure and stress to perform on the field and in the classroom. With so much pressure, athletes often turn to supplements or even medications to help them cope. During our project, we examined 3 different stimulants that college athletes might turn to help them focus. In doing this, we'll look at the effects that these 3 remedies have on the body, why they're popular with collegiate athletes, and why they're banned from college athletics.
All right, so to begin, the class of stimulants is banned by the NCAA and by the NAIA. There's 3 classes specifically within the groups of stimulants. This includes psychomotor, which are commonly seen in our amphetamines, our Adderalls, our sympathomimetics, which is going to be your ephedrine, or also known as mahuang. And then you have your miscellaneous central nervous system stimulants, which caffeine belongs to. Studies have found that 80.9 college student athletes use energy drinks to enhance performance. 64.1 use dietary supplements, and 53.3 use prescription medications.
First off, caffeine is a stimulant that acts on the central nervous system. Today, caffeine is rapidly gaining popularity as an energy supplement in athletics. Caffeine is effective in increasing mental alertness or wakefulness when an individual is tired, but it has also been proven to increase aerobic physical performance in trained athletes. Categorized as a stimulant, caffeine is listed on the World Anti-Doping Agency's list of substances prohibited in competition. But however, specifically, caffeine is included in the 2017 monitoring program and is not technically considered a prohibited substance. Still, caffeine, aka guarana, are both listed on the NCAA's list of banned substances.
All right, guys, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Adderall. So Adderall is a prescribed medication that has been seen an uprise in usage by athletes over the last couple of years. Adderall is a combination of different amphetamine salts, so it is an amphetamine, as Carissa discussed earlier, and the classification of amphetamines have been shown to help several different ergogenic ways, such as decreasing fatigue, improves mental acumen of the athletes as well, just being able to focus, retain new memories, things of that nature. Adderall works by releasing dopamine into the central nervous system, and so the release of dopamine not only enhances the feeling of pleasure or makes them feel good, but has also been proven to have significant cognitive enhancements. So, you know, when people generally think of Adderall, they think of being able to focus. So dopamine in the central nervous system is what actually helps with that as a memory acquisition. So kind of listed some of the ergogenic effects already, but improved memory, enhanced visual processing speed, increased reaction time. These are the main ergogenic effects that you see. So because of that, it's been popular by athletes who use that. So football athletes, baseball especially, lacrosse, soccer, sports that have to process a lot of information in a small amount of time have seen a boost to their performance by taking Adderall. Adderall is banned not only for the fair play of everybody, but it's also extremely addictive. The release of dopamine for anything where you get a wide release of dopamine becomes addictive. So it does have an addictive nature. It can cause depression. Studies have shown that a higher frequency or higher dosage of Adderall for long periods of time could actually hinder cognitive performance. And then finally, because of the way the stimulant acts in the thermoregulation of body temperature, it actually can cause heat stroke, which could lead to death, which is really scary. The NCAA, NAIA considered a performance-enhancing drug, and so they banned it off their list outside of a medical prescription. This can get pretty dangerous because ADHD there's not necessarily like a gold standard to figure out if they have ADHD. So you'll see a lot of athletes who try to get around being able to use ADHD by getting a doctor's prescription, by faking symptoms or something of that nature, which could be quite dangerous as well.
Okay, and last we have mahuang, which is an herbal supplement. As an herbal supplement, it acts in the body as a sympathomimetic, and which stimulates the nervous system's flight or fight response. So the active ingredients in mahuang are ephedrine and pseudoephedrine. Ephedrine is the one that is banned by the NCAA and the NAIA specifically. Pseudoephedrine is actually not banned, but that's a different story. Historically, ephedrine has been used as a bronchodilator for asthma. This was way back in the 1920s, so about the 1950s, and it was extremely popular. But then the long-term effects and some of the side effects started to show, and they kind of banded all together a little bit. It's used for a bronchodilator. So the effects of mahuang are that they're actually very similar to adrenaline. They're very similar in structure. The only thing is that this actually lasts longer, and the effects are also stronger. So one can see why anyone who is looking to enhance their performance would try to use it for it. Additionally, it's marketed as an enhancement for aerobic or endurance performance, as well as alertness, strength, to decrease and reaction time. Despite it, no study has supported such claims. What has been found, though, is when used with caffeine, it has a synergistic effect, which means that it enhances others' effects. So studies have found that time to exhaustion was decreased by 38%, and perceived rates of exertion are also decreased. Why mahuang is banned? It's actually banned in most countries. Banned in the U.S. in 2004, after some adverse effects had occurred. It has an abundance of side effects associated with it. This includes tremors, palpitations, headache, restlessness, anxiety, insomnia, severe hypertension, arrhythmia, psychosis, hepatitis, stroke, myocardial injury, renal hemorrhaging, and rhabdo. The ban that the NCAA and the NIA, as well as other organizations, is more likely due to the health risks associated with this supplement rather than performance effects claim.
All right, guys. So just some conclusion and final thoughts about what we found. So stimulants are very popular by athletes to use as ergogenic effects. A couple different substances. I mean, we only highlighted 3 of them, with an herbal supplement, a medication, and then a commonly used a drug with caffeine. But stimulants have proven to have ergogenic effects on athletes, whether it's to help improve the mental acumen and improve focus, or having similar results to adrenaline, or even helping to decrease how quickly the body comes to fatigue, like caffeine can do. All of them have an ergogenic effects. All of these the categories that we've talked about under stimulant are all banned by the NC2A and NAIA to help keep fair play underneath their umbrella, and then also to help keep athletes safe. Different classes of stimulants can affect the body in different ways. We kind of talked about Adderall a little bit, leading to heat stroke. Caffeine can help lead to heat stroke as well, which can lead to death. A lot of times, these different supplements and these different categories are addictive and become quite addictive, and large amounts of these stimulants can actually cause more harm than good to the body. Several side effects along the way as well. Kind of talked about those. Cognitive performance, dependence, death. Athletic trainers should be aware of differences of stimulants and try to be aware and cognitive if they notice when an athlete is taking a stimulant, or whether that's for classroom abilities, whether you can see they're taking the stimulant for classroom abilities and it just ties over into sports, or if the athlete's taking it right for sport. So yeah, drugs are bad. In short, say no to drugs. Caffeine, Adderall, Huang, all of these are ones to avoid. They're banned already to help decrease the motivation, but they can have some negative side effects too that could cause a lot of issues. It's really cool. Kind of as a group, we were talking about these stimulants and effects, and Adderall is something that's been commonly used more and more often. Caffeine's really, really common among use. They kind of have a general knowledge that maybe these drugs are safe because so many people, drink coffee every day, or you have several students who take Adderall for ADHD. So you almost get a conception that some of these are quote unquote safe drugs, which is actually a really dangerous misconception. So continued education is another big one that athletic trainers can do to help their student athletes figuring out what banned substances are, what that includes, and then why they are banned. Adderall is not a quote unquote safe drug. We've talked about some of the negative side effects that you take. Caffeine, if you start getting into high amounts, can have some negative effects as well. So it's definitely a bigger umbrella than just a simple stimulant. There's a lot of different compounds that go into that, and all of them should be warranted and looked at. Kind of listed our references that we show there, and we hope you guys enjoyed our presentation. I hope you guys learned a little something. Some of these we kind of talked about in a lot of our assignments for this class. So some of this information you might have known already, but maybe some of it you didn't. So we hope that you learned something and you enjoyed the presentation. Hope everybody has a good night or a good morning. And shalom.